Welcome to the jungle of my garden. Things look like they're doing pretty well. Looks a little out of control, but it is a controlled mess for sure. So let's start over here. Take a look at our cucumbers that we just planted, and those are coming up nicely. We're going to thin those out, but again, you can see we're starting a new crop because pretty much everything kind of died here. This is my cantaloupe, so we're gonna just kind of pretend like that never happened. I have my poblano peppers here. They're doing really well. I'm starting to get a little bit more flowering here, and we also have our bell peppers that are coming in. The green beans that we planted, again, we planted a succession of green beans, and these are the yellow beans here. The contender beans did really well, and then the Blue Lake didn't do very well, so I went ahead and planted the contenders in here, and you can see already they're starting to grow. The leeks are in there, doing okay. Jalapenos coming along, and again, the sashito peppers are doing extremely well. So the tomato plants are struggling a bit, but it's been super hot, and not getting a lot of flowers going on here either. Basil plant still doing well. Now here's what we're going to show you. Here is a nice, again, my beans. These are the pole beans, but again, I got literally no flowers at all, so I'm kind of disappointed on what happened with the pole beans, so that's why I decided to plant some bush beans this year. But as you can see, we got nice little watermelons coming along here. There's another one down in here. So we'll have some sugar baby watermelons. Take a look at my vertically grown zucchini plant. It's doing really well. It's probably about 3 foot tall. These are my big disappointment this year. My cauliflower. I planted these from seed, and as you can see, they're huge. They look very healthy, but I've got nothing as far as actual heads of cauliflower. And I think basically what happened with that is that these were growing and it got too hot, and they just weren't able to develop any heads. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these out so I can plant some other plants in here. And I'm still hopeful with my Tomatillo plant. Again, looks like it's out of control. It's huge. It's doing extremely well as far as proliferation and how large the plant is. I got tons and tons of these beautiful flowers. But with Tomatillo plants, you need to have 2 plants so that they pollinate each other. So I'm hopeful that that might not be the case with this particular variety, but again, we're just gonna have to see. So I'm gonna let this kind of still go a little bit longer and see what happens, but I have a feeling that this is not gonna do very much as far as giving me any Tomatillo plants this year. But again, you can see, even when I pull this out, look at how huge this zucchini plant is. It actually has another part that's coming out here, so I got to start trimming these, because again, you can see the flowers in here, and really the pollinators aren't going to be able to come in and find anything like these beautiful zucchinis that are coming down in here. So again, there's a female right in there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out these unfortunate cauliflower plants, and we'll go ahead and show you what we're going to plant in its place. Before I toss these into the compost, I do want you to take a look at the root structure. Really nice root structure on all of these plants. So it wasn't anything that had to do with it growing or not getting enough nutrients. Definitely got enough roots here to do well. But again, I think it's just the heat was too much this year, too early, and we'll try again in the fall, show you how that works out. So now we have our empty spots here, we're going to go ahead and plant some more beans and some other stuff I'll show you right now. I'm also going to go ahead and pull out this one. This is another plant, a zucchini. It didn't do very well. Again, you can see it just didn't really do well. So I'm going to pull this out. We're going to go ahead and plant another zucchini in its place. All right, so what we're going to do to get started here is first we're going to go ahead and clear this out from all the straw, the mulch that we've had. Okay, we'll just kind of move that over. And I've already put some different types of compost already into the soil. We're gonna add some of that as an amendment here, okay? So just kind of clear that out a little bit. And what we're gonna do here is plant based on the square foot gardening techniques that we have. And I'll put a link on below on what you can do for your little area. Again, square foot gardening is probably one of the best things that you can do to fit a maximum amount of plants into a small place. Okay, so this is 12 inches by 12 inches. So we're just gonna kind of loosen up the soil, maybe the first 4-6 inches or so of the soil, just to kind of get that not as compact. And then once you do that, you're pretty much ready to go and plant. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of the compost, and I put a link below. We did a compost video and how you can make your own compost, and you know, basically for free using your kitchen scraps. And that's one of the best things that you can do, not only to save money but also for the environment. So all right, so I've got my homemade compost here, and again, this is all made from my kitchen scraps, and I put it in a old bag, kind of keep it. So I'm going to put maybe 2 handfuls of the compost in each one of my little 12 square foot areas. And there's all kinds of great stuff that you can use with your compost. It's pretty amazing stuff. Very nutritious for your plants, and again, it's organic and healthy. So I'm going to add a couple handfuls, and then we're just going to go ahead and mix that in to our existing soil. And now we've kind of amended that soil up, and we're ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and plant some zucchini plants. I'm going to plant some green beans. So the majority of the things that I'm going to put in this little area here is I'm going to go ahead and put the green beans, and that's going to help with the nutrition. And what I did pretty much with my green beans is I'm using a different variety today, Royal Burgundy bush beans, and we're going to use those to try. They're purple, and what I've done is I've soaked them in some water for about maybe 2 hours or so. And what we're going to do, that helps to allow the seeds to soften up a bit, and it also helps with germination rate. So we are going to put, based on our square foot gardening techniques, we are going to put 4 of these plants in a square foot. So pretty much the way you plant green beans, again, I'll link the video on how to plant green beans. We planted those green beans below before. Basically, you just about 1.5 inches down, put your finger down there, 2, 3, and 4. We'll give you a close-up of this, and you're just going to drop in 2, just in case. You put in 2 beans, just in case one of them doesn't germinate. That way you have that. And again, we're in July now, okay, in zone 8A, but you can still plant a lot of stuff because, again, the soil's nice and warm, and also more importantly is we got plenty of time to grow our first frost is going to be somewhat in October, late October. So we'll have plenty of time for these beans to go ahead and germinate. And the harvest time is about 51 days. So that's a good time frame. So what we're basically doing here is you're going to put a hole here about 1.5 inches down. You just pop those seeds in there, 2 seeds per hole. And we got those in here. And you just cover those up. And those should be ready to go in maybe 4 to 5 days, based on if you soak them in that water, that'll germinate them a little bit quicker. So we're going to go ahead and put the remainder in here. So about 1.5 inches, 2 seeds, 1.5 inches, 1 seed, 2 seeds, 1.5 inches, 2 seeds, and same for the other area. Doesn't take a lot of work to go ahead and put these in. So once you've got the seeds in now, you just make sure that they're watered, keep them watered until they start sprouting, and you're in good shape. So we've got 2. We're going to finish these up, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do the same thing. We're going to plant right here, right next to our massive zucchini plant, a Mexican zucchini, which is the gray zucchini squash. Now, once we've planted our beans, I'm going to go ahead and put the mulch back on this. That'll keep everything nice and moist when we water. So you can use leaves, you can use straw, you can use leaf mulch, you can use any kind of bark. Usually I like to use something a little bit lighter, but again, you could use whatever you want. I do highly recommend that you do use some kind of a mulch on top of your soil. That helps keep everything moist and evenly moist, so it doesn't dry out, especially when it's hot. All right, and as I mentioned, we're going to put 2 zucchini plants or seeds here, direct sowing. Direct sowing, remember, means just planting the seed directly into the soil when the soil is nice and moist and, of course, warm. And this zucchini, we're going to put it about 1 inch down, pat that down nice and firm. And again, we'll put a little bit of mulch in that area. I'm going to go ahead and take this tomato cage, and we're going to make this grow up vertically like its little, well, it's a big sister over here next door. So we'll see how this one goes over the season, and I'll put another one right next to it. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and plant in our grow bag here. Okay, so we've already harvested what we could out of this particular plant, and it wasn't doing extremely well, so I went ahead and pulled that out also. So I have some decent soil in here already, but what we're going to do is we're going to kind of supercharge it. Going to put some of that homemade compost in here, and we're going to go ahead and mix that up nice, real simple. And now we've used that good soil, put that in here. I'm going to go ahead and put our zucchini plant seeds in here, and what we'll do with those zucchini is go ahead and see if we can grow those also vertically. We're going to use one of these tomato cages. This is the plant that I pulled out. Again, it was a well, I think it was a zucchini plant, but again, it's got good root structure here based on the coming out of that grow bag, but again, it just didn't do very well. And part of that is watering, part of that is taking care of your plants. So we're just gonna, cut our losses. It's okay. It's still early in the season. We'll put those plants in our compost. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in here, and then from there, we're gonna let that zucchini grow vertically and see if we can't harvest a little bit of the zucchini for the rest of the year. So just because it's the middle of the summer, it doesn't mean that we can't plant more seeds and get more plants into our garden and maximize our season. So in a couple of weeks, we're going to have some green beans, and we have two varieties. Remember, we have some green beans and we have some purple ones, but they're green or bush beans. And we're going to have a beautiful zucchini, two different types. So maybe you'll get one just this size, and you could use this for quite a bit. So if you like anything in this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, you're in the garden with Patrick. Happy gardening.